Now, the making of a good compilation tape is a very subtle art, many do's and don'ts. First of all, you're using someone else's poetry to express how you feel. This is a delicate thing. So for this one, I'm thinking.
You can hear Indiana by the light switch who watches over you. Make a little birdhouse in your soul, not to put too fine a point on it. Say I'm the only bee in your bonnet. Make a little birdhouse in your soul.
Ooh, this is knowledge. Knowledge is power. No, it's not. Knowledge is not power. That's power. The brain is a muscle, and that's a muscle, and that's a muscle. They are all muscles. This is all muscle. So I am covered in brains, and I have more brains than you.
Hi, I'm Kira. First, I want to give my condolences to Jacob's family and his friends and anybody that loved him. And this truly is a tragedy. I met Jacob when we were in 9th grade. I think we were 14 or 15. We were going to German class together, and he was the first person I met with an MP3 player, and he always had music fired up for me to listen to on the ride up to the big high school to take German AP class. We loved the Misfits. He always tried to get me to listen to new music or different types of music other than punk rock or heavy metal, and I'm a pretty elitist in that realm, and we used to fight about music a lot. But I danced with Jacob so much spontaneously, whether it was at a party or at a show or in the middle of the shopping mall. If there was a song on that we liked, we would dance together no matter where it was. And one of my favorite sayings that I have in my head that Jacob said all the time when he was having a conversation with people to disarm them, he would go, "Are you making fun of my accent?" And people would be like, "No." But Jacob was really caring and giving, and if you didn't have a place to live, if you needed a place to stay for the night, if you needed a bite to eat or a snack or a ride, he offered it up. We lived in the same places a couple of times in our young adulthoods, living across the way, down the street from each other. We kept each other alive a lot, I think. And he was like my brother, He was wild and unpredictable and spontaneous and intelligent and hilarious in the life of the party, no matter where the hell he was. And whether it was him going on random road trips or showing up at your house with a sandwich or something, I don't know, he was amazing. And he will live in infamy. Jacob Hacker was the Nord. And even though the earthly realm lost a brother, the sky gained a Nord Star. I love you, Jacob. I'll never stop loving you. Be well.
The Nord took me to my first punk rock show when I was 15, and he showed me all of my favorite bands. And my life would not be the same if I had never met him.
Look, it's Raph. Yeah, a little too Raph. You guys, knock it off, brother. Keep your eyes peeled.
Everyone who had the pleasure of knowing Jacob knew how special, unique, and genuine he was. I will always cherish our memories and our inside jokes. He will always hold a special place in my heart.
I have been since time began. I have seen everything. We found your earth and with its yellow sun.
Who is the being in the trench coat? Who is he? You know, don't you?
He's a phantom of terrible power. He alone controls himself. He's on a mission from another planet. Dimension thingy.
You're dead, but the world keeps spinning. Take a spin through the world you left. It's getting dark, a little too early. Are you missing the dearly bereft?
High school was a nightmare for me. I hardly spoke to anyone. I was extremely quiet, and I didn't even speak to like people I knew at the time or friends that I had, but somehow Jacob was able to make me feel comfortable, and I just like loved hanging around him.
Jacob was one of my first loves. When we met at 16, I was captivated by his uniqueness, creativity, music knowledge, and his authenticity. He had this rare ability to understand people who felt like they didn't belong and create an environment to help them realize they weren't alone.
My favorite memory of Jacob goes back to the night that Sherry went into labor with Sarah. We were at one of our regular Saturday night parties, playing cards when Sherry started having contractions. When it was decided it was time for her to go to the hospital, my wife and I took Jacob and TJ and Brent home with us. I took the boys in the house to get them ready for bed, and my wife took off to go get her sister and go up to the hospital to wait for Sarah to be born. When we were getting ready for bed, I put Jacob and Brent on Brent's bed, and Jacob was fighting sleep and tired and crying. TJ was patting him on the back, telling him it was going to be all right. His mom went to the hospital. He was going to have a baby sister in the morning. Brent was patting Jacob on the back and looking at me like, "Do something, Dad." So I went to the kitchen and got Brent a bottle and Jacob a bottle, came back, handed Brent his bottle, and Jacob looked at me and the other bottle. I handed it to him, and they both laid down. He stopped crying, and they were asleep within 10 minutes. Sandy got home in the middle of the night. I don't remember what time. It was still dark out, but she told me that Sherry had had the baby and that Sandy's mom and sisters would be back up at the hospital around 10:30 and wanted me to take Jacob up to them so that they could take him home with them. So the next morning we got up. We were fixing breakfast. Sandy's mom asked me if Sherry had decided on her name. And I said, well, last night while we were playing cards, she was down to 2. She hadn't really announced a name yet, but she was pretty much decided it was going to be Sarah Kate. She was over 90, almost 99% sure, but she wanted to see her first. And right after I said that, Jacob said, Sarah Kate. Sandy's mom started laughing, and I laughed, and I said, well, I guess Jacob's decided what her name's going to be.
Where if I live, swear to God. best friend.
I always will be, my little Viking.
But will I ever see you again?
Worry not, boy. Worry not. For I am Archie, the strongest man. For the world.
I'll leave the light on for you.